Peter Klepec. Many years ago, a poor widow and her only son, Peter Klepec, lived in the mountains near Kabar. They had no land, so Peter's mother worked on the neighbors' fields from morning till night to earn a living. Peter loved his mother very much and always obeyed her. He was a weak, short, thin boy, much weaker and shorter and thinner than the other boys at his age. He tended Rugaka, their goat, every day. It was a quiet animal. When it was grazing, Peter could play with stones, make little watermills by the brook, and carve whistles from wood. Peter was poor but happy. The melodies he whistled were sweet and lovely as a bird's song. His mother couldn't have had a better son, and Rugaka couldn't have had a better shepherd than Peter. Peter was getting older and hungrier from day to day. He needed more and more food. His mother became worried. One day she said in tears,
"Peter, we don't have enough bread. You must go to the neighbor and ask to become his shepherd."
It was not easy for Peter to leave his beloved mother and Rugaka, but he didn't have to say a word to make his mother sadder and more unhappy than she already was. With a bundle in his hands and sorrow in his heart, he left his mother and Rugaka. His mother stayed lonely and unhappy in the little old hut. The neighbor who gave Peter his first job as a shepherd was a rich farmer. He had a lot of cows, goats, and sheep. Peter tended his flock of sheep in the mountains. He could no longer play with stones and whistle his songs because the neighbor's sheep were not quiet and good as Rugaka. He had to run after them the whole day long. But that was not the worst thing in the world. Peter spent many more bitter hours with the other shepherd boys. They were most unfair and unfriendly towards their new comrade. They teased him because he was weaker and smaller than them, because he was the weakest and the most timid of all. The other shepherd boys were taller and more vigorous than Peter, but they were less kind, less gentle than him. Many times Peter was hurt by their words, and often he was sad and lonely. He dreamed about becoming taller and stronger. He wished to be as strong and as brave as the other boys. He wished to become even stronger and more courageous than them. When the shepherd boys played, they forced Peter to take care of their sheep. When they were thirsty, they wanted him to bring water from the spring. If he did not obey them, they beat him and threw stones at him. He wished to go home to his mother, but he did not do that because he knew that his return would have made his mother sad. One day the shepherd boys sent Peter again to fetch water. After he had gone, his sheep got lost. His heart was full of fear when he ran after the sheep. He looked everywhere, but he could not find his flock. Finally, he came to a large meadow high in the mountains. It was the most beautiful meadow he had ever seen. He was tired, hungry, and thirsty, but his sheep were nowhere to see. Suddenly, he stopped and stared. He saw a charming girl sleeping in the grass. She had a long white dress, long golden hair, and a wreath of flowers on her head. The sun was shining straight into her face. It was hot, too hot for a lovely face of the unknown girl. Peter brought some branches and put them around the girl's head as a green roof to protect her from the sun. Peter forgot his sheep. He just stared at the sleeping beauty. She was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen in his life. He did not know that the girl was a mountain fairy. When the fairy opened her eyes, she was surprised to see a green shelter around her face. She guessed that was the work of the shy, silent boy who was standing there, looking at her.
"Thank you, Peter,"
the fairy said.
"You are a kind and gentle boy. What can I do for you? I wish you thank for your kindness."
When Peter heard these words, he remembered his lost flock of sheep, and he remembered his cruel and wicked comrades.
"My wish is greater than you expected, good lady,"
Peter answered.
"Tell me,"
the fairy encouraged him.
"I will do for you whatever you wish."
Peter said,
I wish to be as strong as the other shepherd boys. I wish to be even stronger than those who make my life more terrible every day.
Follow me.
The fairy said, and took him to a big rock to a spring of water.
Drink this water.
The fairy ordered and offered him water in her cupped hands. When Peter drank the water, he felt a strange power flow into his hands. There was a birch tree growing nearby. He grasped it and pulled it out by the roots. The fairy offered him a second draught. When he drank it, he was strong enough to pull a fir tree out of the ground. After the fairy's third offer of water, Peter lifted a huge rock above his head. Peter's sincere wish had been fulfilled. Now he was happy. He wanted to thank the lovely unknown girl, but she had changed into a cloud and disappeared. Now Peter understood that she was a mountain fairy. Peter looked as thin and as weak as before, but he was very strong. He was the strongest and most vigorous boy in the country. Peter found his sheep and went towards the village. He sang on the way down from the mountains. His song was happy, gay, and loud. When the shepherd boys heard him, they wondered what had happened. Peter was such a timid, frightened boy. Why was he singing so loudly and happily now? The shepherd boys were thirsty. It was hot.
Where have you been for so long, Peter?
They cried when they saw him coming.
Bring some water, Peter, quickly.
You go and get it if you want to drink.
Peter answered. The shepherd boys opened their mouths in surprise.
Look here, Klepec. How dare you? Would you like to feel the force of our fits?
They threatened.
Come here if you wish to feel mine.
Peter answered. The boy burst into laughter. Is Peter mad, or does he really wish to be beaten? They jumped at him. They caught him and started to beat him. But Peter grasped the nearest boy and swung him through the air. The boy stopped and stared. Where did this strange power come from? They cried out in fear and ran away. Peter pulled out a birch tree and ran after them, waving it back and forward to drive them away. But he didn't hurt them. He was too good at heart to hurt anybody. Even now, when he was strong, he was no less kind and gentle than before. He forgot all the ugly and insulting words the shepherd boys had said to him when he was weak. He did not think of revenge, nor did he want to be a shepherd anymore. He drove the sheep to his master, took his bundle, and went home to his mother and Rakaka. When his mother saw him, she was scared.
Did your master drive you away?
I left him.
Peter said.
I will live here with you, mother. We won't part anymore.
What are you going to live?
His mother was worried.
I'm going to clear this land of stones.
Peter said, looking at the stony ground around their hut.
We'll saw what I will take the grind to the mill, and you will make white bread. That is how we are going to live from now on.
How will you clear this land of stones, my boy? You are too weak for such hard work.
Look, mother.
Peter lifted a huge rock and threw it far away. His mother stared and didn't say a word. She was too happy. As Peter said, so it happened. He cleared the land of stones and turned it into fertile soil. His mother made good white bread. They were never hungry again. They loved each other and lived happily ever after.